Welcome everyone, I'm Amy. I'm a nutritional therapy practitioner and I'm also an NPC Bikini competitor. And this is my improvement season vlog. In the intro for the vlog, I'm going to talk about my coach's feedback from last week. So if you did not listen to my last week video, I say what I did for my check-in at the end of the video, and then in the beginning of the video for the following week, which is now, I talk about what my coach sent me for feedback. So that is what we're going to talk about. I'm also going to show the unboxing of the phase 2 or the stage 2 kit for my SIBO protocol. As I mentioned in my outro, I did start to see some improvements in my symptoms the week before, and then last week really kind of solidified that those were staying around, which was great. So did start the second kit just a couple of days ago, and I'll walk you guys through what's in there as well this week. So if you do have questions about anything at all from what happened or what I experienced on the first kit and now moving into the second kit, this second kit is 90 days, so it is quite long, and I will probably run it at least twice just as maintenance, since I don't want to have a recurrence, and there is a very high rate of recurrence with SIBO, so hoping to avoid that. So let's talk about what my coach sent as feedback. So there was a lot of feedback on my workouts from last week because I did send so much workout footage. So the couple of kind of high points there on the row, the single arm dumbbell row, like I said, the one that like you put your front foot forward, which is the reverse of what most people in the gym do. He said he wants the dumbbell to drift over the center line of the body a bit so the scapula opens up around the rib cage. So that is the cueing that I will be putting into practice this week for that one, just to kind of, allow that dumbbell to come. And it is, like I said, it's kind of an awkward movement because you do have you're limited somewhat because that front foot is forward, but it really forces an isolation of the lat in a different way. So that makes a lot of sense to me, that cueing to kind of round across the rib cage and to allow that arm to kind of cross the center line. So definitely we'll do that this week. And on the single arm pull downs, he sent me a YouTube video of a better way to do it, which is to sit sideways, which makes so much sense because I'm so tall that I can't get a good stretch at the top because I'm topped out. So to turn sideways, so I'll film that this week so you can see that. So you're almost reaching it gives you more range to reach kind of up and across and pull down, with the weight stack here versus the weight stack in front of me. So that should allow for a little bit more range of motion on that, and that looks great. And yeah, I think that's really going to help. So excited to try that. On my dumbbell laterals, just to stop about 6 inches away from my body instead of coming all the way back down. Totally can do that. Oh, those spider crawls are so brutal. And then on the hammer strength press, try keeping my head back against the pad and to put some yoga blocks under my feet. So actually what I did, and my workout today was my first session of the week, so it was my push session, and I just got one of the exercise steps and carried that around with me because I had a few exercises where I was using the bench, and on the benches at this gym, they're the really high benches, and I'm tall, and I can barely touch the ground. So having that exercise, the step with me, oh my gosh, it was like a game changer. So I will absolutely use that. I used it on all my pressing movements today. So I will definitely use it when I do the hammer strength press later in the week for my chest. I used it today when I did the hammer strength for my shoulders. I used it on all of my bench movements today. It was great. So we'll definitely be doing that everywhere in the gym. See, and I'm tall. I'm 5'11", so I don't know how really short people do it. So definitely I'll show that. You guys will see that in the videos that I get this week if I record anywhere I'm using that. So I carried that around with me all day today. It was great. And then also on the hinge squat, so there was one thing just to take a little step forward so that the cable is in the center of the foot a bit more. I'm behind the weight, and I'd like to see more over the weight. So he actually sent me a picture of exactly where my shoe should be in alignment with the cable. So we'll definitely do that, and I'll do that tomorrow. So get that foot just a little bit more forward. But other than that, he was happy with those. So he sent my updated diet. So he said minor changes to the diet and that I'm okay with you prepping for a show at the end of the year. So the adjustments to my plan, I I'm calling this like a cleanup phase, it feels like. So just kind of tightening things up a little bit. The two real changes, like on my diet plan, it's just kind of reduction in carbs, just ever so slightly, a little bit from each meal on all days, just little changes there, a little bit of reduced protein on some meals as well. So just little adjustments. And then the inclusion of some HIIT sessions. So total cardio amount, so the 30 minutes stays the same, but the first 20 minutes are the steady state at around 130 beats per minute with heart rate. And then the last 10 minutes are going to be a 15-second on, 45-second off HIIT cycle. So I'm excited about that. So like I said, just little changes, but it feels good to kind of, be able to, like I said, be in a little bit of a cleanup phase. We're not starting a prep. We're not starting a cut. We're just kind of, in my mind, just kind of cleaning it up a little bit, which I'm excited about. And it does mean that I have to go do the HIIT sessions. This morning after my workout, I did my 20 minutes of steady state, but was running a little bit late. So that was all I had time for, but I am gonna go get in the HIIT session this afternoon on the spin bike, which is my favorite way to do HIIT. I like doing the HIIT sessions on the bike because it just is the easiest way to do it. You just stand up and like grind it out as fast as you can, and then you can kind of sit down and just spin your legs to recover. So for me, my favorite way to do HIIT is on the spin bike. And luckily I have a spin bike here in my apartment gym, so that makes it really easy to go get that in. So I will get that in this afternoon. It was great timing when I got the feedback from him. I was finishing my first meal of my rest day, so made the adjustments for the rest of that day, and also have implemented them for this first day of the week. Not a lot of changes, just little bits here and there, like I said, so it's not like it's drastic. It's just little cleanup, a little bit of extra output. So excited to see how all of that goes. So exciting things. And lots of good tips to make my workouts better this week, and excited to kind of start putting in some HIIT sessions and tighten up the diet a little bit and see what happens this week. So it should be exciting. I'm excited. I think that's all I've got this week. So I will show you guys what comes in the stage 2 of my SIBO kit, and I'm sure other things as well. And if there is anything that you'd like to see specifically or have questions about with my plan, with anything at all, please leave those in the comment section below. And I will see you all here in whatever comes next. So this week I got footage of my pull day, which is my final pull day, or my second pull day of the week, which is my last workout of the week. And it starts off with 4 sets of 25 of these seated rear cable flies. These are more challenging than they look. And part of it is because it's very high rep, but it also just really isolates that contraction on the rear delt. Like there's no getting away from it, and there's really no using momentum. I mean, I do kind of try and do a quick contraction, and you'll see in my form, and I can see it in my form that it's like you're trying to get away from it, but you can't. Like there is no getting away from this. It's just constant tension, but really trying hard to put into practice the things that my coach said about unwinding or rewinding the cable stack and not allowing it to pull me back. So really resisting against that pull of the cable on the way back up. And yeah, 4 sets of 25 of these is just brutal. I am using my wrist straps on these, or my wrist cuffs, because I find that if I'm using the handles, I end up trying to kind of muscle it with my grip. So this takes that out of it, and there's no getting away from the rear delt isolation on these. They're awesome. Then after that, I move on to an incline or prone incline Y raise. So I do have the bench up a little bit higher, but I'm kind of keeping my head down to prevent like my upper back from arching, to really isolate the medial delts, and just focusing again on, this is my pull day, but really pushing the weight up and pushing the weight down, to really keep that contraction both ways. These are really great. And I did, I think 3 sets of these in the 12 to 15-ish rep. I think I was only getting 12 reps with these. These are the 10-pound dumbbells. They're little weights, but they are challenging. Then after that, I have a few sets of single arm pull downs, kind of see that I'm working my right side, but I have my left hand on my right lat, just to make sure that I'm really keeping that contraction isolated. The other thing that this does is it really helps me keep my shoulders level. I find that if I don't do this, I end up kind of getting off balance. Like I end up elevating the working shoulder really high. So keeping my hand there really helps me get that isolation on the lats, really focusing on feeling that, and also preventing that shoulder from inching its way up or kind of hunching over or hunching up. And really like these. I love pull downs. All variations of pull downs. After that, my back is feeling very warmed up, so I move on to these forward leg dumbbell rows. Most people do these with their opposite leg forward, so their non-working leg forward, but this is a variation where your working leg is the forward leg. And what this does, at least for me, is it takes the twist out of it, so really getting that stretch, but trying hard not to allow my torso to rotate a whole lot at the top, and really keeping the focus on the back. It does feel a little awkward when you first start doing these, and I'm sure everybody in the gym is like, she's doing those wrong, she should have her other foot forward, but this is the way they are programmed, and I do really like it. So did a few sets here, just kind of working up in weight, and then did a couple of top sets. I think this is my final top set. And then after that, again, my back is feeling it by this point. I get to move on to these kneeling single arm cable rows. As a tall person, this is a great way to get a really good stretch. The kneeling allows for, you can kind of see how close I get to almost even from a kneeling position, maxing out that stretch. So it really allows me to stretch and isolate and really focus on this pull back. I am interested to hear my coach's feedback on these. This is the first time I'm sending him footage for this particular workout, so I'm sure there will be some good feedback that I will probably talk about either in my outro or in my next video, because I'm sure there will be some feedback. But these are great, and man, by this point my back is feeling pretty fried. After this, I did do a superset of cable curls on the small cable machine, the small pulley machine where I started with the rear delt flies. Went back there and did
4 supersets of forward-facing and away-facing cable curls, and man, they just destroy my biceps, which is a great way to finish out a back workout. And then I did get to do, I say get to because it's programmed in as have fun on these. I could pick any glute machine I want. For this, I do use the glute drive at my gym and do 4 to 5 sets of 15 to 20. So high rep, I'm supposed to just get a really good pump. And again, he says have fun. So I did those on the glute drive, but did not get footage of either of those things. But that is the last 2 things I did in this workout. It was a great back and glute and bicep day.
Phase 2 of my SIBO recovery supplementation regime. This is the motility or gut motility and digestion support. So this is a 90-day protocol. And again, I will likely run this at least twice. In fact, I'm probably going to order another one, and I'll kind of explain why as I go through this. I'm going to order another one right now. So phase 1 was 30 days. And then, like I said, phase 2 is 90 days, knowing that you probably will add more. And it has 3 products just like phase 1 did. So I'll talk about what's in it and also some of the differences and why I'm using these products right now. So this is the little guidebook that comes with it. It's very similar to the guidebook that came in phase 1, talking about, that congratulations, you've made it. The supplementations found in this kit consist of a comprehensive array of nutrients and compounds that are designed to support a healthy microbiome balance while enhancing digestion and promoting healthy gut motility. And that's one of the things that's really important because there is such a high recurrence of SIBO. In fact, I think it says it here. It's an established fact that the recurrence occurs in 44% of similar individuals after the initial phase of their program. Best practice, sorry for that jump cut. We're on trauma call right now and my phone was ringing. It was the trauma service. So it's even with antibiotic treatment, this is definitely the case. So 90 days or so, or when they retract people after initial treatment with like antibiotics, that there's a high recurrence rate. So the reason you really want to focus on motility after you do the initial die-off phase is just to make sure that you're efficiently getting everything moving through your small intestine and evacuating things appropriately. Because if you're letting this bacteria kind of linger in there, that can then lead to overgrowth and the cycle continues. So that's why it's so long. It talks about why you want to enhance digestion. That's the digestive enzymes, pancreatic juices, bile, all that stuff is going to be in this kit. Promotes intestinal motility, which considers one of your body's most important defense mechanisms as it orchestrates what is cleared out of your small intestines, keeping your digestive tract running smoothly and efficiently. Restoring gut motility, this is very similar to what was in phase 1, is eating a gut-friendly diet rich in whole foods, managing stress, staying hydrated, and engaging in regular physical activity, which for me is not a problem. The physical activity part. The managing stress is sometimes challenging. So key principles, nutrient-dense foods, how to reintroduce things if you've cut things out. And then we'll talk about what's actually in each of these things. So there's 3 different supplements. You take each one 3 times a day with meals, which is really handy. If you know from watching my breakdown of the phase 1 kit, the timing was a little bit challenging because they needed to be taken on an empty stomach, and the specific instructions were either 30 minutes before meals and or 2 hours after eating, which, you kind of have to add those 2 things together. So or at least I was, and maybe I didn't need to, but so it was like 2.5 hours, which is fine. But it was more that like I'd forget and it was like, oh gosh, I need to eat now because this is the time I have at work or whatever. And, so it was a little bit challenging, but I got used to it. And there were only a couple of times when I had to actually take them like at the same time as a meal. And I didn't notice a difference either way. So this one is nice because you take them with food. So let's start with the big bottle. This is the Motility Zyme. So this is for gut motility, healthy bile flow, and intestinal function. So Motility Zyme is a functional, non-laxative approach to digestive health by addressing the root cause of constipation. It works to support gut function, restores natural motility, and optimize digestive balance without the dependency or irritation sometimes caused by traditional laxatives. So it has ingredients in it that kind of help stimulate that migrating motor complex, which is the way your intestines kind of peristalsis, like how it moves stuff through the digestive tract without causing like a laxative effect, which is really good because people with, IBS or SIBO can sometimes have a lot of like alternating constipation and diarrhea. Most are pretty concerned about using a laxative, and you don't want to get dependent on that to move your bowels. So this has 5-HTP, ginger, and artichoke. I'm like, that's tiny. I was like, I know it's artichoke, but it was looking odd from this angle. So that's what's in this guy. So one of those 3 times a day. And then the next one is Hydrozyme. So Hydrozyme is a digestive enzyme. So this is for healthy digestion, enzyme production, and stomach acid support. Hydrozyme provides digestive support via supplemental betaine hydrochloride, pepsin, and pancrein, along with other known synergistics. So synergistics are just things that work well together. And those other things in here are glutamic acid, aluminum chloride, and then pancreatin, pepsin, those ones we talked about. So this is just a digestive aid. It's really nice. The interesting thing, like this, you take 1 3 times a day with this protocol. And oftentimes I use this when I'm working with nutritional clients, this line from Biotics, and this is one of my favorite supplements from them, but I will usually have people take way more than 1 with a meal. So I am still adding a little bit of additional betaine HCl on top of this with my meals, just to get a little bit more. The thing I like about these is that they're a tablet. So you can see they're a tablet. You don't want to let these linger in your mouth, and absolutely do not chew these because they are acidic, but they break down really quickly. A lot of HCl products come in a capsule, which if it's not in your stomach long enough to actually like open up, it's not going to do its job. So I always tell people, like with digestive enzymes, especially like with betaine, you want to think of it like dish soap, or like adding suds. So you don't put your dish soap in, if you're getting a sink of soapy water, you put the soapy water and then you put the dishes in. So I tell people to take it like before eating, give it like 10-15 minutes to kind of start doing its thing, and then eat. So that's how I like to do it. So even though I say they take these with meals, I still do take them 10 to 15 minutes before I'm going to eat. Like when I'm getting my food ready is when I take these. And then the final product in here, again, this is one of my favorite products from Biotics. I feel like almost everybody could benefit from taking some beta. This is Beta Plus. So it helps with bile flow, liver detoxification, and fat digestion. Beta Plus contains both digestive and antioxidant enzymes coming from vitamin C, along with taurine and organic beet concentrate. It's designed to help support healthy bile flow and the normal conversion of bile acid to cholesterol. So one of the things, again, that when I work with clients, I'm a nutritional therapy practitioner, and we have a very whole food based approach versus, like treating things with medicine. I like to treat food as medicine, and I often recommend eating beets. But a lot of people hate beets, which I don't get because I love beets, but I get that they're earthy, they stain things. So this is a great product because it does have that beet enzyme in it, which is really helpful for all, helping with digestion. The added taurine. I do take additional supplemental taurine also, but this is great. So ox bile, pancreolapse from porcine, organic beet concentrate, superdioxide from vegetable culture, and then catalase. So this is a great product. And again, it is a tablet. In some cases, like if people are really struggling with, especially things like fat digestion or somebody that doesn't have a gallbladder, I'll actually have them chew these up. Again, they don't taste great, but this one you can chew, which is actually really handy if you need it kind of like right away, to really get it working quickly. And again, I do tend to have people dose this higher. So if I am working with somebody, I'll have them usually take 2 to 3 per meal, depending on what they're struggling with. And this one, so just 1. So like I said, and when I was talking about this at the start, I am going to order another kit because I do eat more than 3 times a day. And my meals, are a little bit protein heavy because of course I'm trying to build muscle. So I would like to be able to take them with at least 4 of my meals every day. So I'm going to order another kit so I can have enough, just to kind of keep using it. So using it more than 3 times a day. And again, this is my protocol. I am not your nutritional therapist. I'm not a doctor. So if you are having digestive issues, definitely work with somebody. Don't just take this as what you should do also. I work with these, I use this product line, have used this product line for the last 10 years that I've been a nutritional therapy practitioner. So I know them well. I know what dosages can be tolerated, and I know kind of my own tolerance for some of them as well. So that is phase 2. Excited to be moving on to phase 2 and hopefully continuing to see some progress with all of my SIBO symptoms. If you guys have questions about these products, please leave those in the comments below. And we're back. It is the end of the week. It is time to talk about what I sent for my check-in this week. Hope you guys enjoyed the workout footage and also the breakdown of what was in or what I'm taking for the second stage of my SIBO protocol. That's been going really well. Little update there. I do talk about it in my check-in as well, and I can talk about it more if you guys are interested. So let's first just jump right into my check-in after a quick sip of water. I have sucked in a piece of dust or something. This is real life. So my check-in from the week. Let's look at my check-in photos here and here. So this is the first thing on my check-in form is pictures. So that's the pictures I sent my coach this week. Asks for the date of our goal, which is still TBD with a big smiley face, no goals yet. Weight from this week or from today, and then the same weight last week. I did have a little bit of a weight drop this week, which was expected with the kind of cleanup phase that we've started with a little bit of change in macros. Wasn't massively significant, but it did toward the end of the week drop a little. Had a little, as weight does, went up and down a little bit throughout the week, but my weigh-in weight on check-in day was the lowest weight of the week so far, which was great. Blood pressure still normal. My fasting glucose still about the same. Adherence to diet 100%. I put yes. Adherence to cardio and training 100%. I put yes. And then I'll talk more about the cardio and training in my comments at the end. No changes to my supplements. My current training split is still my 5-day PPL, push-pull legs. Have not done a deload week. We haven't done recent labs. Haven't done a refeed meal. A lot of this I skip on my check-in form because it's just stuff I haven't done yet. Sleep, I gave a 4 out of 5. Had good sleep this week. Gym performance, I gave a 5. Had really good gym sessions this week, and I really loved the addition of the sprints or the HIIT session, the HIIT cardio at the end. Really loved that. Overall energy levels, I put as a 4 out of 5. Current appetite, I put as a 3. I did have, well, I'll talk about this more. I did have a little bit of a weight or a increase in my appetite that then decreased throughout the week. Sleep score on my ring this week was an 88. It was very good. My average is usually around like an 85 to 86, so the 88 was very good. Resting heart rate was 50. That's the average throughout the week, which was also good. Current water intake is the same, 1.5 to 2 gallons a day. Current favorite food choice, you guys guessed it. It's still sourdough with all the heart eye emojis. Oh, love it. Daily step count this week was a little bit higher, about 13,300, but 4,000 of that did come from cardio. And then the cardio, so this is the change from last week, was I still am doing 6 sessions a week. 2 of them fasted, 4 post-workout, combination of elliptical and spin bike. So I have 3 of my sessions are 20 minutes of just steady state cardio and then 10 minutes of HIIT. So it's 15 seconds on, 45 seconds of recovery. And I do that on the spin bike and I love it. And again, I do talk about that more in the comment section of my check-in. Digestion, I put as a 4 out of 5. It does seem like it's improving, which is good. Current mental state, also 4 out of 5. I mean, there's really nothing that would not make it a 5. I guess I feel I'm that person who can like never give myself 100%. Like I always have room to work on it. So still a work in progress. So it's a 4. And then here's all the extra info, questions, etc. go in this box here. I put, good morning, Tommy. Hope you had a great 4th. I had a good week, definitely had some significant hunger the first few days of the new plan, but I know this is normal for me, and it subsided after a couple of days, back to feeling satisfied and normal hunger. So I do know this just from my own dieting history, that anytime I have a change in macros, like a downward change, I'll like have this like reflexive, like extreme hunger for like a day or two that then goes away completely. So I was expecting that, and so that was not unexpected. That's just kind of how my body kind of is, like, oh gosh, and then it's like totally fine. So all good there. I said really good workouts this week. I had some significant soreness in my legs after my leg day and in my back after my second pull session of the week. Is when I was like reaching up high in a cupboard for something, and I'm like, oh, like my back is sore, which is a good feeling to have. I'm excited. I said, thank you again for helping me find a good hinge movement. I'm excited to really start hitting those banded RDLs. I will send a couple of videos via WhatsApp, which I did send him. The exercise step under my feet has become my favorite gym accessory. I carry it around with me everywhere, and it really helps me feel more connected on my pushing movements. So that was something he wanted to see, was to put he put yoga blocks, but I was like, there's those stair stepper things there. So I just grabbed one of those, and it has become like one of my favorite things. I take it with me anytime I'm doing any type of pushing movement, or when my feet are firm on the ground. I use it and I love it, and it's easy enough to carry around. It's super light. I said adding the HIIT intervals at the end of my cardio sessions felt great. I love hitting it hard on the spin bike, and I really do. It's so much fun. I used to be a long distance cyclist, so I really enjoy my time on the spin bike. I said SIBO symptoms and lower abdominal bloating are getting much better. I'm integrating a lot of pelvic floor work. You guys saw that in my last week video where I talked about the things I'm into with my PeriFit. So really working hard on my pelvic floor health and lower abdominal work to really reconnect to my core. I still feel a bit disconnected, but my vacuums are getting stronger, and that feels really good. So that was one of the weird things with SIBO, was that I felt like I was so disconnected and like could not pull a vacuum. Was really the first, if I go back in time, the first symptom I really had was this feeling of like literally not being able to pull a vacuum. And that was something that I was like quote unquote good at. Like I felt like I always had that. So to have that kind of go away, it's taken some time to rebuild it. I also have found a woman on Instagram or on YouTube who does postpartum workouts. So I've watched some. I'm going to start doing some of those too, like that really focus on that lower abdominal control. I am not postpartum, but the same thing goes, just to kind of get that connection back. And she does this really specific type of breathing technique that I've been doing that I really like. So I might record one of those and put that in a video in the future too, if I end up really liking those. So that was it. That was my check-in for the week. It was a good check-in. And I did get some good feedback. So what I wrote in there about him helping me. So I've been sending in the videos of my Pit Shark RDLs, and I've just kind of been struggling to get the technique the way he wants it, and then to also kind of make them feel good. And this week in particular, I was doing them and I was like, wow, I felt them entirely in my lower back when I made the adjustments that he recommended. So I sent him that right away. And I was still at the gym doing cardio when he got back to me, and he asked me what other, hinging movements I've actually liked in the past. And we decided to start doing a banded, kind of like a rack pull RDL. So I'm really excited. So I was able to finish up cardio and then go over and film a couple of quick sets to send to him. So you guys will see that in a future video when I record them again, just to kind of have him see my form really quickly, do the setup, and like, yes, we decided that that is a good swap. So I'm going to be swapping out my Pit Shark RDLs for these new banded rack pulls, and I will talk more about them when I record them. I'll record them for next week, so you guys will get to see that. So it's really good. And again, I am so impressed with the responsiveness of my coach and just how much he really is putting the time and effort into making sure that I'm getting good workouts, that I'm getting good connection, that my workouts are effective. So it's been really great. Cannot say enough good things about how amazing it has been to work with Tommy. So that's all I got. Next week, got some fun adjustments. I'm sure when I get feedback on the rest of the things I sent in, I'm sure I'll get some other adjustments, get to add in those RDLs, which will be great, or the rack pulls, which will be great. Try to do a shopping haul. Oh, I will be doing a shopping haul next week because I'm getting my Amazon subscribe and save items. So I will do an Amazon subscribe and save haul in next week's video as well. If you guys have any questions, comments, thoughts, any of those things, please leave those in the comments. I really do appreciate it. I would also love it if you would subscribe to my channel. Even if you never come back and watch another video, it would still help me out a lot. So And if you do have questions, I'm always happy to answer those in the comments section below. And until next time, please, 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 it is summer. Spread some positivity and light to yourself and everyone around you, but most importantly to yourself, because you deserve it. I have struggled with some mindset things lately, and I really do think that I appreciate the ability to have the support of all of you out there. So I appreciate you so much. I'm sending you some sunshine, and I will see you all here next time.